We are back here on WLTH 1370 AM, and we're going to go back to the phone lines. Hello, caller.
Good evening. I'm going to skip to Afghanistan. There was a plane that that was trying to take off, and they were preventing the plane from taking off. Have they gotten that plane loosed yet?
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier today too. I don't know yet.
Because it may be that they were waiting until 9/11, and then they could take them as hostages or do some damage, and then they would seem as though they have the biggest country on the planet up under their feet and at their mercy.
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
They probably planned it.
I'm gonna look into that. But while you're on the phone, do you remember where you were at on 9/11?
Sure, I was at work.
Really? So what was that like? Like, where were you working, and what was it like?
I was working at a social services agency in Hammond, and everything had gotten quiet, and people were they turned on the TV so we could see what was going on. And because I was on the phone call, I didn't hear when it first started, and I heard my radio saying that about the Pentagon. And when I was reporting that, I said, "Oh, something's happened to the Pentagon." They said, "No." Yes, they said the White House. I mean the Capitol. Or I said, wait, hold it. Pentagon. It's happening almost everywhere.
Oh, okay. Thank you for your and as for your inquiry, the Washington Post say that there are planes now that are including Americans that are leaving from the Kabul airport. So I guess they're starting to let some of them out. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
And we have another caller. Hello, caller.
Hello. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, I was working at the Sears Tower.
Whoa.
In Chicago.
Oh, my God. I know that had to be scary.
Oh, it was something else. Because I called my mama. I said, "Mama, what did Tom Joyner? He talking about some planes crash. She said, "Something happened in New York." Then I said, "Oh, Mama, I got to go." The ladies called me from Missouri, but it was my sister from Houston. She said, "You need to get out of there.
Yeah.
Them planes is hidden. They said they come to Chicago." I cut the computer down and everything. I'm looking in the hallway. I go in the elevator. It was quiet. Get to that bottom floor. Them doors. It was just complete chaos.
I remember. Like I was here in Gary in Miller, but I remember everybody saying the Sears Tower is next.
Yep, I was out of there, and it seemed like it took like 15 minutes to walk from the train to there, but it seemed like it took 5. It was complete chaos outside, and them Chicago metros was rolling in. I said, "Where's that South Shore? Where's that South Shore? Where's that South Shore? I got these Chicago metros coming on in." Then here come finally South Shore. Get on there, quiet as a mouse. Quiet.
Right.
Quiet. But you all gentlemen have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your call.
You're welcome.
Before we get out of here, because we only have 10 minutes. I definitely wanted to shine a light on to me, and I've talked about this before. I even did a counterpoint segment on this back when I did the counterpoint segments. But the most courageous act I've seen by a politician in my lifetime was Miss Barbara Lee, the representative from California, on September 14th, 2001. I don't want this to go celebrated or unnoticed, because this is the 20th anniversary of this woman's courageous act as well. She, and while everyone else was saying we got to hurry up and rush to war, we got to hurry up and go to war, Miss Barbara Lee got up in front of Congress and had the gall to say, let's wait and let's just try to figure out what the right thing to do is. And she was the lone vote out of 435 politicians in the House of Representatives to vote against giving George W. Bush the AUMF, the authorized, I think, unmitigated, something military force, the authorized use of military force. She was the lone politician to stand up against it. And this speech right here, it's very short, but it is powerful in the context of the situation.
From California, Ms. Lee.
Gentleman from California is recognized for a minute and a half.
Thank you, and I want to thank our ranking member and my friend for yielding. Mr. Speaker, members, I rise today really with a very heavy heart, one that is filled with sorrow for the families and the loved ones who were killed and injured this week. Only the most foolish and the most callous would not understand the grief that has really gripped our people and millions across the world. This unspeakable act on the United States has really forced me, however, to rely on my moral compass, my conscience, and my God for direction. September 11th changed the world. Our deepest fears now haunt us. Yet I am convinced that military action will not prevent further acts of international terrorism against the United States. This is a very complex and complicated matter. Now, this resolution will pass, although we all know that the president can wage a war even without it. However difficult this vote may be, some of us must urge the use of restraint. Our country is in a state of mourning. Some of us must say, let's step back for a moment. Let's just pause just for a minute and think through the implications of our actions today so that this does not spiral out of control. Now, I have agonized over this vote, but I came to grips with it today, and I came to grips with opposing this resolution during the very painful yet very beautiful memorial service. As a member of the clergy so eloquently said, as we act, let us not become the evil that we deplore. Thank you, and I yield the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman.
Wow. Like I said, remind you, this is this is September 14th, 2001. This is right after those towers got knocked down. She had the guts to stand up and essentially say going to war willy-nilly is not gonna help the situation. You got any final words, Rev? I guess not. But yeah, I think ultimately over the last 20 years, we've seen what happens when the military industrial complex is able to have free reign over our society, and we let it happen. We gave them the permission to essentially do what they wanted to do after 9/11 with the Patriot Act and other things. Did you have any last words on 9/11, Rev?
Well, I'd like to go back a little before 9/11. During the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, we were engaged in what was called the Cold War.
Yep.
And the Cold War, especially when it came to aerospace industry, but to matter of fact, the development of the M1 tank helped pull Chrysler out of bankruptcy. So there's a long history, I guess, going back to World War II, where we discovered that there is a lot of money in arms manufacturing. But with the end of the Cold War, we had nobody to build these armaments for. We were supposedly the last superpower.
Right.
And then came 9/11.
Yep. And the military industrial complex has definitely expanded since then. Sorry.
Now today, though, we find ourselves in an interesting situation. I just read an article about the next generation fighter project. The reality is the traditional way of arms procurement is too costly. They just plain can't afford to do it that way, where you you build a particular weapon system, and then you spend a ton of money on maintaining it. When the technology exists now to be able to design things extremely rapidly, so now they're looking at doing things instead of building one thing and maintaining it for 25 years or so. They build things, and then every 8 years or so they're changing, so that the long-term costs are not what we're carrying. It's more upfront costs, but it allows them to pivot quicker. I guess in a way, we kind of have to look at it like we bought a narrative during World War II, and we never found a way of creating a new narrative. And that
Right.
narrative was the United States was the world's protector, the
Right.
arsenal of democracy. We
Right.
can't just be just another country. We've got to be the United States of America.
Right. You get the last word there, Rev, because we got to get on out of here, folks.